My husband, Gregory, who you may know as Gregg Allman of the Allman Brothers Band, asked me to sit down next to him right before he died and said to me, "Do you know that I worship you? I've never met anyone else who walks into every single room as their complete, authentic self. I wish I had lived my life like you." And then his best friend of 50 years and my dear friend, Chank Middleton, called me right before he died and he said, "Baby girl, I know you catch hell for speaking your truth, but I wish I'd had the balls to speak my truth like you do. So you keep going, baby girl, you keep going." And these are the two men that I loved and admired the most in the world, telling me that they wish they had lived their lives like me on their deathbed. And one would think, I would think, that that kind of feedback would bolster my confidence to continue living that way, that authentically. But after they died and my safety was gone, my protection was gone, and like trauma does, I became very disconnected from myself, my body, my voice, my truth, my safety to speak out. And so I felt like I was just kind of snuffed out and buried underground. And there was all of this chaos and noise and just unkind projections thrust at me. And in a lot of ways, my story was told for me, or in some cases, my story was erased. And so now that I've been coming out of this really like 7-year isolation cave, this grief and trauma cocoon that I went into, and as I emerge and dry off my new butterfly wings, I think about how Gregory literally had his voice taken from him. He had a tumor in his lung which paralyzed his vocal cord, and so he could only whisper for the last 8 months or so of his life. And so just the pure act of having a voice to use is a gift that many of us take for granted, that I've taken for granted. And I think a lot of us feel uncomfortable speaking up these days for all different kinds of reasons, but I never want to waste the gift of my voice again. And there's about 8,500 new people here on this account, which I really started because I didn't have a place to use my voice. I didn't have a place to talk about my grief or trauma or how I had been impacted by it, or who Gregory was as a man, Gregory Lenoir Allman, behind the curated image of Gregg Allman. So I'm just really ready to talk about Gregory, the man, and who I am that's not Gregg Allman's younger girlfriend, wife, widow, gold digger, daddy issues, whatever. I'm just ready to introduce myself to y'all, and thank you for being here.